Hey there, cyber-curious friend. Let's talk about something that's been simmering in the shadows of global politics, but is now stepping into the spotlight: cyber attacks as acts of war. Gone are the days when warfare was all about tanks, planes, and boots on the ground. Today, the battlefield has shifted to cyberspace, where lines of code can wreak havoc on nations' critical infrastructure, economies, and even civilian lives. And guess what? Only a handful of countries have the chops to pull off cyber attacks at a scale that qualifies as an act of war. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dive into the top players in this high-stakes game. Before we name names, let's quickly recap why cyber attacks are now considered potential acts of war. Imagine waking up one morning to find your power grid shut down, hospitals unable to access patient records, or banks paralyzed by ransomware. These aren't just inconveniences, they're national security threats. When a cyber attack targets a nation's vital systems, it can destabilize governments, cripple economies, and endanger lives. In fact, NATO has declared that a cyber attack could trigger Article 5, the Collective Defense Clause, meaning allies would treat it as an armed attack. But here's the catch. Unlike traditional warfare, cyber attacks are stealthy, deniable, and often difficult to trace back to their source. This makes them an attractive tool for countries looking to project power without firing a single bullet. Now let's meet the usual suspects, countries with the capability to wage cyber attacks as acts of war. If you're thinking the US is just sitting back and playing defense, think again. The United States is widely regarded as one of the most advanced cyber powers in the world. Its offensive capabilities are spearheaded by U.S. Cyber Command, which operates under the Department of Defense. Remember Stuxnet, the infamous worm that sabotaged Iran's nuclear enrichment program in 2010? Yep, that was reportedly a joint operation between the U.S. and Israel. It's considered one of the first examples of a cyber attack causing physical damage. In 2016, Cybercom launched a cyber campaign against ISIS, disrupting the group's online propaganda machine and communication networks. While the U.S. excels at offense, it's also a prime target for cyber attacks due to its reliance on interconnected systems. This dual role keeps American cyber forces constantly on edge. The U.S. sets the tone for how cyber warfare is conducted and retaliated against. Its actions shape international norms and policies around state-sponsored hacking. But don't forget, being a leader in this space also makes it a juicy target for adversaries. When it comes to cyber attacks, Russia is the king of chaos. Known for its sophisticated cyber operations, Russia doesn't always aim to destroy, it prefers to disrupt, confuse, and destabilize. Whether it's meddling in elections or knocking out Ukraine's power grid, Russia has proven time and again that it knows how to use cyber tools to achieve strategic goals. Originally targeting Ukraine, NotPetya spiraled out of control, causing billions of dollars in damages worldwide. Many experts believe it was a Russian operation disguised as ransomware. One of the most brazen cyber espionage campaigns ever, the SolarWinds breach infiltrated thousands of organizations, including U.S. government agencies, through a compromised software update. It showcased Russia's ability to penetrate even the most secure systems. From phishing attacks on political campaigns to spreading disinformation on social media, Russia has mastered the art of influencing democratic processes without firing a shot. Russia's cyber strategy focuses on sowing discord and undermining trust, not just in governments, but in institutions and societies as a whole. If you value democracy, cybersecurity, or even just reliable electricity, Russia's tactics should concern you. China takes a different approach to cyber warfare, one rooted in espionage and intellectual property theft. While it hasn't launched overtly destructive attacks like Russia or the US, China's cyber capabilities are second to none when it comes to stealing secrets and gaining economic advantages. Advanced persistent threat groups like APT-10 and APT-41 are believed to be linked to China's Ministry of State Security. These groups specialize in long-term infiltration of foreign networks to gather intelligence. Chinese hackers have been accused of stealing everything from military blueprints to corporate trade secrets, giving China a leg up in industries like aerospace, telecommunications, and biotech. China frequently targets Taiwan's government and businesses with cyber attacks, testing its capabilities for potential future conflicts. China's focus on espionage means your data, whether personal, corporate, or governmental, is never truly safe. Plus, its growing military cyber integration raises concerns about how it might escalate cyber operations in a conflict scenario. North Korea may not have the resources of the US, Russia, or China, but it punches far above its weight in cyberspace. Desperate for cash and eager to strike back at perceived enemies, Pyongyang has turned to cybercrime as both a revenue stream and a weapon of war. This global ransomware attack crippled hospitals, businesses, and government agencies worldwide. It's widely attributed to North Korea, showcasing its willingness to cause widespread disruption. After Sony released The Interview, a satirical film mocking Kim Jong-un, North Korean hackers retaliated by leaking sensitive data and destroying files. North Korean hackers have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency to fund the regime's activities. North Korea's unpredictable nature makes it a wild card in the cyber arena. Its attacks are often financially motivated, but they can easily spill over into geopolitical conflicts, especially involving South Korea or the US. Iran may not get as much attention as the other heavyweights, but it's rapidly building its cyber capabilities. Initially focused on retaliating against sanctions and regional rivals, Iran has expanded its reach to include espionage, sabotage, and influence operations. This wiper malware erased data from Saudi Aramco's computers, crippling one of the world's largest oil companies. Iranian hackers have targeted U.S. dams, financial institutions, and energy grids, raising fears of future attacks. Like Russia, Iran often uses proxy groups to carry out cyber attacks, providing plausible deniability while achieving its goals. As tensions rise between Iran and Western powers, the likelihood of cyber escalation increases. Iran's growing expertise means it could soon rival the big players in terms of impact. While the 5 countries above dominate the cyber landscape, others are worth keeping an eye on. Known for its elite Unit 8200, Israel has pulled off some of the most sophisticated cyber operations in history, including alleged involvement in Stuxnet. With rising tensions along its borders, India has invested heavily in offensive cyber capabilities, particularly against Pakistan and China. Both France and the UK have robust cyber forces, though they tend to focus more on defense and counterterrorism rather than large-scale attacks. You might be wondering, sure, these countries can launch cyber attacks, but how does it affect me? Here's the deal. Hospitals, power plants, water supplies, all of these are vulnerable to cyber attacks. If they go down, so does your daily life. Nation-state hackers often steal personal information, which can lead to identity theft, fraud, or worse. Cyber attacks blur the line between peace and war, increasing the risk of misunderstandings and escalations that could spiral out of control. The digital battlefield is no longer a hypothetical, it's reality. Countries like the US, Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran are already using cyber attacks as tools of statecraft, espionage, and warfare. As technology advances, so too will their capabilities, making attribution and deterrence even harder. Next time you hear about a massive cyber attack, remember the players behind the scenes. These nations aren't just flexing their muscles, they're shaping the future of conflict. Until then, stay informed. and maybe invest in a good antivirus program. You never know who might be watching.